Earlier today, one viewer said into yesterday's Street and Stimulus video, I don't understand why we care what Wall Street says. You know, they're just predicting what's going to happen with rich people in Congress. To which I thought, okay, I'm not really explaining these videos very well. On Street and Stimulus, the daily series on this channel, I detail why Wall Street focuses on the performances of stocks and how those stocks suggest where the stimulus is coming. For example, the bond market trades up when they see that stimulus is coming because it costs for money for bonds to underwrite the stimulus. Second, when you see travel industry rebounding, it means that they think that this travel will start up in the country again and stimulus is coming right around the corner. Moreover, it's important to understand that stimulus is pushed by members of Congress because of corporate executives who want the stimulus for their businesses. Ultimately, the focus of this channel is you, not corporate America. But every time that someone's pushing for your stimulus, that's a good thing. And that's the reason this is Street and Stimulus. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Street and Stimulus, in which we look at why Wall Street can tell us where our stimulus is coming and can be very vocal about the stimulus itself. That includes Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, and his words on stimulus, Wall Street's executives on stimulus, and corporate America's words on stimulus as well. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do, because you see how I'm giving you stimulus from all different angles and all the type of relief that you need in a given day, going taped, going live. It's not a one-subject channel. I covered a lot of relief and a lot of assistance to get you through this pandemic from point A to point B. Even today, I went back to the original cores of the channel, EIDL and EIDL loan and PPP and PUA. And also, like this video, it helps the video appear higher in the rankings. In this video, I'm going to be going over what Wall Street is saying about your stimulus, not predicting so much the stimulus, but urging it to pass. And they're not talking into an empty vacuum. These are companies who actually lobby senators. These are companies that lobby the people who actually decide your stimulus. And so these are people who actually have them in the Rolodex and call them up and say, hey, you know, you didn't pass that stimulus. Go get it. Oh, well, you know, I'm working on lobsters. No, pass the stimulus now. Those are the type of people you want to have working for you, because ultimately we're not corporate America. We're, you know, purple. We're purple America. All right, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as you sit here tonight is that all of Wall Street wants the stimulus to go out right now. And singularly, you want it to go right out now. In the comments I'm seeing to one of the check video, which went live about an hour and a half ago, and I talked about the Biden plan to give $2,400 a year for SSI and SSDI. Somehow, in the choice of words of that recording, some viewers thought that I said there's no relief for anyone for any stimulus until 2021. I didn't say that. But if it was not clear, I apologize. That's not what was said. And I've said in almost every single video that everyone wants the stimulus to go out now, not in 2021, or wait, you know, till when the cows fly back from the casino. And so Wall Street wants this stimulus to go out right now. And tonight, more than ever before, Wall Street needs it urgently. And I got to tell you why. Wall Street is in New York, and guess what's happening in New York? New York is going on to curfew. Curfew is that step right before a lockdown. In California, in Los Angeles, we are at the ultimate last step before you see curfews. And after curfews are lockdowns. America has simply still not gotten a grasp of what the economic impact is of a curfew versus a lockdown. But we certainly understand the threat of a lockdown to the financial stability of you, the individual, the person on SSI, the single mom working 2 jobs, or the Uber Lyft driver that just got out of college and has a job, thankfully, or the person who's retired. You all need stimulus in a different way, and you need it right now. And the impact of a lockdown is not good. Wall Street says the stimulus needs to go out right now, and what they're concerned about is that the stimulus path to get it done needs to be done sooner rather than later. When we talk about stimulus, we're talking about doing things proactively, not after the fact. I've always talked about on this channel getting things messaging out first, not later. And we've been pushing as the followers of this channel, the Purple Power, to get the message out to send the stimulus now, not afterwards. Earlier this week, we heard the vaccine announcement. That means that a vaccine could be coming to mass distribution in the United States around April. But that is not reassuring of anything for what's going on now, because a lot of things are expiring, and Wall Street understands this. Wall Street does not like that unemployment benefits are expiring in December, does not like that eviction moratoriums are expiring in December, or that mortgage forbearance are expiring in December. It doesn't like that student debts are expiring. It doesn't like that unemployment benefits are expiring. And it doesn't like that you're sitting around looking at this massive surge of COVID across the country, growing exponentially per day, and yet there's nothing ready to financially battle against it. When we were talking about stimulus, and we were talking about second stimulus, and we started talking about it in May, I started talking about it, I think about June or July, we understood the situation then. We had come off a lockdown, it was summer, it was warm, and we were not homeless, and we were not living in a tent behind Walmart. But the situation slowly got more glim for some people as time progressed. That was the summer. Now we're in the thick of fall, heading into winter. It's cold now. As you can see, I have a vest and a jacket on to film outside. It's cold even here in Los Angeles. And as it's cold, stimulus is needed right now. And this is what Wall Street's saying. Yesterday, the chief executive officer of McDonald's, this is not like, not like Larry's barbershop on the corner. This is McDonald's, said that stimulus needs to go out right now. What are we waiting for? We need to go out right now. The CEO of the Chamber of Commerce of U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which is actually, the agency that oversees American business, to tries to ensure American business or push American business, says our businesses need stimulus right now. Senator Warren has said Social Security recipients need that additional sum of money right now. Pete DeFazio, who I've not spoken about on this channel for about a week. I spoke about him a lot about a week and a half ago, over the 2 weeks before that. He is, I believe, from Oregon or Washington in the Northwest, representative, House, Democrat. Said, you know what? Prices going up. Prices going up. Pandemic's roaring on, going into the winter. I have a lot of senior citizens in my jurisdiction of where I represent my constituents. They can't survive on this growing price escalation. We need a cost of living adjustment. We need additional stimulus. We need multiple stimulus checks. Joe Biden over the weekend said, I will do as many stimulus checks as needed as warranted. I will do as many stimulus bills as I need as warranted. We can't just settle back and say, oh, we got one chance and that's it. That language may have worked in May with Mitch McConnell. One last bill and don't come back to me anymore. But that's not America right now, nor does Mitch believe that anymore, nor has he ever said that anymore. It's important to understand that Wall Street is looking at the situation by the minute. Wall Street analysts are watching the stimulus discussion. And as you sit here tonight, and I really don't want to go into politics, but the political spectrum for Wall Street is now no longer really an ingredient of their risk assessment. They now only put COVID and stimulus as their two main focuses of risk assessment, saying, hey, you got to get these two things done right now because these are the two singularly most important things that will impact the U.S. economy over the next year. get these things done now. That's what Wall Street analysts are saying. Then Wall Street executives, like the CEO of McDonald's or the head of the Chamber of Commerce, says we need to get this done right now. Then they want it to be done bipartisan. Chamber of Commerce appeared on CNBC and said, you know what? I called up Mitch and congratulated him on election night. Congratulated him on his, seventh term now? One of only 7 senators in U.S. history to ever have done that. 7 terms. And then I called up Joe Biden. I said, congratulations, President-elect. Very encouraged to have you and Mitch work together to pass stuff for the American people. And that's the spirit of bipartisanship that Wall Street wants and needs. It's important to understand was when the pandemic hit in March, there was no economic impact at that moment in March. We were coming off a very strong economy. Now the economy is, and your situation is potentially not good. And so Wall Street understands you can't play games with this anymore. Now is now. And what's important to understand is that there were those 20 Republicans that didn't want to give you much, that didn't want to give you anything, that wanted to, and then there was Mitch and the May that said all those crazy things. Times flip, and as one person said in one of these comments today, I've never seen senators change their opinion so quickly. These are elected officials. They change their opinions very quickly. But the news right now is very clear. New York is going on curfew. Los Angeles could be next. All these economic impacts are felt. Less hours for a business to work, less ability for a business to operate, less money for you to make, more unemployment, potentially then lockdowns, and it just grows. And this is what Wall Street is sensing is coming on the horizon. In some states, I've seen your DMs, I've seen your tweets, I've seen your private messages. Some of you live in areas that are now on lockdowns, and my hearts and wishes are with you, and the spirit of this channel is with you as well. Lockdowns are financially a strain on anyone of any magnitude, and ultimately you need stimulus, and that's what Wall Street's seeing. Wall Street, as you can certainly expect, is filled with a lot of people in New York because Wall Street's in New York. And they may know a little bit about what's going on in Connecticut or, Florida or Los Angeles, but they may not be knowing what's going on in Wisconsin or Arkansas or Kansas because they may not be there or from there and may never know and don't follow the economics of the situation. But the economics of the situation is if you're the biggest manufacturing company in Wisconsin, you're put on lockdown, and that manufacturing business serves a major industry. Eventually, Wall Street will get the message, not months later, but hours later, and see the impact it's going to feel on that part of the U.S. economy. And it's at that point that Wall Street says, wait a second. This company that's the major pusher of the entire sector of the U.S. economy for that thing in Arkansas is now on lockdown? Well, that's going to start impacting that entire part of the U.S. economy. What's the next part of the U.S. economy? And suddenly they realize it. And suddenly they put the message out clear, and that message is put out to the executives who get on the phone, call their executive friend, their head in Congress, and the message gets loud and clear. It's with that Street and Stimulus stays focused. Wall Street believes you need stimulus. Wall Street's urging for the stimulus. The Federal Reserve is urging for the stimulus. Mitch and Joe is urging for the stimulus. And be on social media, push, and get that stimulus out. Coming up next is Purple Power Live, followed by Check, which is taped, or I'll reverse them, one or the other. As always, go on the channel, subscribe, because we're going to get through this pandemic together. Also, like this video. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay LA for more.